good, everybody? Sonic Frontiers Defense Squad, tap in. And I gotta say, it looks like as the days go on, as the news comes out, we are getting more and more vindicated because the information is always looking good with this game. Just feels like every time they drop any tidbit of information, it just looks better and better. Honestly, though, I think the big problem is, like, the gameplay footage we first got probably wasn't the best, and that's why the whole internet was set into a frenzy. There is so many interviews, there's so much stuff to cover, and I'll probably just go over the things that you need to know and just keep it as quick and concise as possible. As you guys can see behind me, there's new B-roll footage that actually looks like it was played by a competent player. You can see some new combat abilities. You get to see some new, like, ways of how the open world works and how fast Sonic can go. You see some new platforming challenges. You see some new puzzles. So make sure to watch that behind me so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, guys, this is looking a lot better than what we have seen before. And I gotta say, I think we should just be patient and trust the process. Let's get all the information that Sega wants to present to us this month, and then we can truly make that proper judgment. But I'm very positive about this game, and I'm at the point where I'm just thinking, like, I think this game is going to be good. At this point, you got to prove me otherwise. Here's some of the main takeaways from the gameplay demos as described by Tails channel. So why don't we get right into it? It says Sonic gradually becomes faster throughout Frontiers via a level up system, and this is very important to talk about. I was one of the first people that said this after the first trailer when we all Sonic moving very slow. I'm like, hold up, wait a second. This is going to be a game with RPG elements. It looks like it's going to have experience, so why isn't it reasonable to assume that you can level up Sonic's speed? So I feel like I'm totally vindicated on that. That makes, like, complete sense. And it feels good to be right about that. But we have a lot more to get into in regards to Sonic's speed and how he controls as we get into the video once I read on the Hands Impression article. It says the tutorial was described as awkward, took around 15 minutes. I mean, that's okay. Most game tutorials I hate. It says once the tutorial was over, though, the whole experience was described as phenomenal. The soundtrack changes when a player encounters an enemy. The level design in Frontiers is worth exploring, which I can totally agree with. There were no non-playable characters in the demo. Players can boost with the R2 button, described as limited, like the previous game. And it says Amy will give the player a reward in exchange for the collectibles in Frontiers, which were shaped like hearts. So without further ado, this is probably the best article out of all of them, like all these game journalists that talked about this game, that really conveys what I think that you need to hear about this game. This website is called The Gamer, and it starts off by saying Sonic Frontiers preview, folks, our blue boy is back. The article says there's plenty of charm in the Blue Blur's first open zone outing, and I'm cautiously optimistic that it's going to deliver the goods. The Sonic Frontiers demo from this weekend's Summer Games Fest event in Los Angeles starts with a short cutscene. A bewildered Sonic the Hedgehog finds himself in an unfamiliar island separated from his friends Tails and Amy. A talking drone gives Sonic some cryptic direction about collecting goobers to save his friends or something. While they chat, we inexplicably cut to an extreme close-up of Sonic's hands. After a few quips and some light exposition, I gain control of Sonic and slam down the turbo button, which I refuse to let go of the entire length of the demo. So I'm guessing that's the boost. Moments later, I try to run up a stone staircase, but instead get launched into the air at a 45. Then watch Sonic helplessly tumbles down a cliff and the screen fades to black. I didn't nearly play enough to decide whether this is a good Sonic game or not, but it is certainly a Sonic game. Before I get into the specifics of the gameplay, I have to mention the settings menu, which came up automatically at the start of the demo. I don't know if this will make it into the release version, but the settings include a dozen or so sliders that allow you to customize the way Sonic controls. There are 5 different sliders related to Sonic's speed, as well as turning, acceleration, resistance, and more. I can understand why you would want to give players the opportunity to customize the way he handles to some degree. Sonic has an all ages fan base after all, but this felt more like Sega isn't sure how to tune the physics, so it's making us all figure it out. I just slid every option to the max, and honestly, it felt pretty good. There's really not any harm here, just another thing to add to the long list of Frontiers quirks. I mean, I don't see how that's a bad thing. Give everyone what they want to see. If you want more physics, you want more momentum, make it possible via the sliders. I mean, if that's the case, then that's really a good thing, and this probably is the biggest takeaway from this article. The fact that you have this level of control over Sonic is definitely something that I'm more interested in hearing about. Most people's biggest problem with this game was how Sonic moved and how he controlled, and that was honestly the only criticism I really had of it as well. It looks like there's going to be a couple gameplay styles, so it looks like there's going to be a lot of customization. There's supposed to be an action style, which gives Sonic extra weight to his control, and high speed style. So I guess high speed style is for more like experienced Sonic players, so such as myself. And it also said there's going to be a fishing mini game. Like, there's, like I said, a lot to this game that we don't know, and we're going to find out very soon. But give us more control and give us more freedom to choose that. I like how they're kind of playing to both sides. I will certainly be playing on the hardest difficulty. Let's continue though. He says, I got the chance to run around the first several open zone islands, Sega's term, and check out the different enemies, points of interest, and collectibles that Sonic can find. The world is dotted with platforming challenges, combat encounters, puzzles, and more, and you never have to go far to find something new to investigate. While the density of the POI keeps things engaging, there's a noticeable lack of flow in between them. I tried to look for the lines that connected all the different platforming elements together, but I found everything everything to be pretty segmented. The world feels like it's made up of a lot of little tiles that each of them have something interesting on them, but they don't fit together in a cohesive way. Instead of building momentum by navigating through the environment with precision like you would in a linear Sonic game, you're just running from one POI to the next, stopping each time to engage with whatever you find. This could just be a symptom of the early game, which is frequently interrupted by tutorials and tooltips, and I hope later islands have a more handcrafted feel. So that makes sense, but that also kind of like counteracts the narrative that the world is empty, because I don't think the world is empty at all. It feels like you kind of just have to explore, and I think that's why he's missing the point. The point is not to be told where to go. The point is really to kind of just like explore and have fun for yourself and just really like see what Sonic's abilities are all about. It also feels like we don't actually know what the game's really about yet, because everyone who played it said there's like a sense of mystery with it. In terms of the story, like we don't even know why we're there, and it seems like the point of the game is to kind of like find out what Sonic's memories are, because it also says he has like amnesia, and we have to also collect Amy's memories. So this is going to be very interesting, and I think what they are going for is the sense of mystery and giving the players like this wide open playground to explore and do what you want. So I think he's a little bit misguided in that direction, but at the same time, he's probably right. You would like to see later on as the game progresses, maybe like a more cohesive world, I guess, if that's what he means. I mean, if you're playing a demo for only 30 minutes, they're probably just going to want to give you a gist on how the game plays and kind of give you an introduction to the story. So maybe he's probably right about that. And I appreciate the honest criticism. But again, I think the main focus of this game is going to be exploring and kind of just like every single place you go on the map, there's something to stumble upon and interact with. But let's keep going. He says, it's a shame that when I played it felt so staccato, because controlling Sonic felt pretty good. Sonic's movements are snappy and responsive, and it's relatively easy to be precise while platforming. Homing attacks lock on predictably and fairly consistently. You have a lot more control on both the ground and in the air than I expected. While running, the shoulder buttons make Sonic juke left and right without losing momentum, he said the word, which is useful for dodging attacks as you approach an enemy. The aforementioned boost is on the right trigger, which is actually different because usually it's the X button, which will give you an instant burst of speed followed by a sustained speed until you run out of energy. Sonic can double jump in the air and use the boost to dash forward long distances. When combined with the homing attack, you can pull off some pretty impressive air combos. I didn't feel like the boosted speed was nearly fast enough while running around the island, but you'll upgrade Sonic's speed throughout the game by finding the lost Coco, which are I guess like the Korax from the Breath of the Wild, which is what he just said right there. So that right there to me is very important. We can level up Sonic's speed. He has a skill tree. So like exploring the world and finding collectibles, and you know, like this guy said before, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Well, you're supposed to just explore, bro. You're supposed to literally find all the collectibles. A sense of progression is something that's good. Any game like this, open world with those RPG elements, like you need that. You have to be able to level up your character and feel rewarded for playing the game, which is honestly what it seems like this game is going to do based off of all the footage that we're seeing. But let's continue. He says Sonic actually has a pretty robust progression path this time around. All of his base stats, speed, attack, defense, and ring capacity can be incrementally upgraded by finding hidden collectibles. Sonic also gains new abilities throughout the game that can be upgraded by spending skill points. I got to try one of the new abilities called the Psych Loop, which when you hold down Y, Sonic leaves a trail behind him when he runs. If you draw a closed circle, a variety of things can happen. This ability is used to solve puzzles, find hidden items, and stun enemies in combat. I would like to see the camera pull back into a more top-down perspective while you activate the Psych Loop so you can actually see the circle you're drawing, but I think it's an interesting and versatile mechanic nonetheless. I will say this though, the spin cycle or Psych Loop, whatever you want to call it, like it looks really fun. Something about that, like I feel like I'll just be like drawing smiley faces or something. Like I don't know, I just feel like it looks really cool, and it looks like it has like a lot of uses. Like he said, it's going to be versatile. Speaking of combat, this was the area that surprised me the most because I expected a very little and came away fairly impressed. The enemies are robotic and have an ancient/alien technology aesthetic. They're pseudo-organic, like baby's first Geiger, and I found a lot of appreciation for their designs that dictate your combat tactics. Homing attacks will only get you so far. Mashing the X button to unleash a torrent of kicks and punches, while satisfying, will often get you killed. You have to learn the attack patterns and wait for the right time to go in, dodge attacks, and resist temptations to overcommit. Combat is fast, flashy, and a lot more engaging than I was expecting. The camera occasionally turns into the real enemy when you get too fancy with your movement, but overall the combat was one of my favorite parts of the demo. This again is a very good thing. We're talking about combat that is more in-depth than anything we've ever seen in the Sonic franchise. Like I said before in my previous videos, it seems like everything I said based off of what I looked at and what I was able to predict is coming true. This isn't Sonic Unleashed. We're not button mashing. We're not sitting there and just pressing A, pressing B, and just doing different combos. We actually have to pay attention to what you're doing. You actually have to challenge the brain a little bit. And you know, they probably haven't given us much about what we can expect with the combat because of the NDAs and how they're going to be revealing more information as the time goes on. So guys, we really haven't seen much yet, and honestly, I will say Sega's marketing is definitely terrible. Like the way they're showing off this game was really bad, and it feels like they're kind of doing damage control right now. But based off of all this information, Like, things are just looking so good and so promising. And I feel like Sonic Frontiers Defense Squad is tapped in. We are ready. We are engaged, and this game is going to look good. But let's continue. Aside from fighting robots and collecting lost Cocos, there's a handful of other activities to do around the map. There are platforming challenges that reward you with the opportunity to reveal parts of the map in a scattered checkerboard order. You're also searching for memory tokens, which are used to free Sonic's friends. In the demo, I found all of Amy's memory tokens and released some kind of digital imprint of her from a futuristic jail cell. Tails was also mentioned at the start, but I don't yet know what other Sonic characters will be in the game. Eggman does make a brief appearance, and I got the impression he's just as lost and confused as Sonic is. So that's interesting. We also have some screenshots that the Eggman, like, robots or, like, whatever is in the game, as you can see by this imprint right here. So it's cool to see that Eggman's in the game, but it's clear that, like, the enemy of this game has nothing to do with Eggman, or maybe he caused it, but he's also just as confused as everyone else is. But let's keep continuing. So this is actually some more promising information. He says there's another core gameplay mechanic in Frontiers that, according to the NDA I signed, I'm not allowed to talk about it until June 29th. If you've been following IGN First coverage, however, it has already been revealed and widely discussed. So he's talking about cyberspace. He says, I'll have a lot more to say about it in a couple of weeks, but it's a major part of the game, and I think that's great. Here's IGN's Mitchell Saltzman describing the thing I'm not allowed to talk about, and he's talking about cyberspace. So I think on June 29th, that's when we're going to get our cyberspace reveal for anyone who's interested. And like I said before, this is a big part of the game. This is a big reason why this game is going to be very good. Reason I'm saying this is because it appeals to all Sonic fans. So if you are a Boost fan, you're not really going to love the open world or whatever, and you know, some people have been saying that. You will still have your traditional Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generation type levels. What if these are like some of the best boosting levels like ever in the franchise? This is the reason why I'm optimistic, and it's just like we haven't really seen as much as we're supposed to. It's not going to be all revealed at once, and we all wish that IGN showed off this game better, because the casuals who see that at first are going to write this game off as a meme. But hey, man, listen, I like this article. I mean, I think he's fair about what he saw, but keep in mind, this game takes a long time to complete. Like, I know it's going to be a very long game. It's not going to be like a 2-hour game like Sonic Forces. The guy played like 20-30 minutes, and he only played like basically a tutorial, ran around for a little bit. So guys, it's looking pretty good, but let's finish the article, and this is probably the best part that he says. It says, based on the 30 minutes I played, Sonic Frontiers reminds me a lot of Pokemon Legends Arceus. Both games are the first attempts to reimagine a stagnating series in a modern way, and while there are some questionable design decisions and plenty of frustrations to be found, there's a huge step in the right direction. I don't think Sonic Frontiers is reaching the full potential of what an open zone Sonic game can be, but playing it inspires me with all the possibilities of where things might go from there. Unlike Legends Arceus, however, which exhausts itself in the first few hours, I have a feeling that there's still a lot to discover in Sonic Frontiers, and if you are already indoctrinated into the cult of Sonic, I can say with confidence that you're going to love it. Let's be honest, the bar is pretty low. The demo itself was the best 3D Sonic game I have played in a decade. So, kind of a backhanded compliment, and he certainly isn't overly positive about it. Like, I'll show you some other comments of people who have talked about this game, who have played it. Let's look at this one, which is really good. This tweet right here says, I saw the Sonic Frontiers demo. Can't say anything or I'll get nuked, but this game looks incredible. The IGN stuff isn't doing this game justice. He says, I'm feeling Game of the Year nomination. So a lot of people are very positive about this game, and it's just looking really good, guys. And this person also said that Sonic Frontiers is better than Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, which, you know, a lot of people like that game too. I think it got like an 85 on Metacritic last time I checked. Like, we also got some more information about the skill tree. It says there's a whole skill tree to unlock. The demo has you unlock the first additional skill that lets you create damaging energy loops by running. The tree probably had 18 or so skills on it. And they also talk about the fishing again. This guy also says there's even fishing apparently. Don't ask me how that works. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. And it's also important to remember that the game is still in development. Takashi Iizuka, who is the head of Sonic Team, said that the team is working really hard on finishing up everything and finalizing all the work that needs to get done. They're working long nights right now trying to get us to the point where they think that the game will be ready. So guys, we have to be patient about this. We understand that this is still an early build, which usually is kind of a lame excuse, especially with Forces, but everything just kind of feels different about this game. One last interesting thing I'll say is that Sega is aware of the feedback, and they know that the footage showed off doesn't really leave much context for the players. Iizuka had this to say about that. He says, we see a lot of people saying, oh, it's kind of like this, it's kind of like that, but it's not like this, it's not like that. That just made my head hurt. And really, the team is going out creating this new game format for Sonic, and we're calling it the Open Zone format. And this new game system itself is something that doesn't really exist in any other comparable titles, so we really hope that from here until launch, we can really explain what Open Zone gameplay is. So basically saying is we didn't have that much context, and there's really no other game you could possibly compare this to, although to me, Breath of the Wild comes to mind. So it's very interesting to say that, and they know that the first bit of footage that they showed was rough, so they had to release new gameplay footage today. He says if people come to Gamescom or Tokyo Game Show, they can get the hands-on experience to play the game and understand what the game is, because right now we're kind of just watching videos of people reacting to what they believe the game to be. So what he's saying is, you don't know what you watch. You better just be patient and wait. More info is coming, and we are hard at work, and the game that was showed is still an early build. I've been saying this a lot. I know it's kind of redundant to say, but we just need to find out more information about the game. And with all these hands-on impressions being overwhelmingly positive, we are taking a step in the right direction. Sonic Frontiers Defense Squad, we win again. Based off of everything that I'm seeing so far, this game is going to be good, and I'll keep you guys posted every single step of the way. So the biggest takeaways are that we're going to have to save Sonic's friends. There's a very big open world. We have the cyberspace levels. We don't know if Eggman's involved in the story, and this guy says that there's some different ways you can control Sonic's speed and movement, which is definitely the most important thing that we learned. Like, there's one thing we could take away from this article and this video is that we can control Sonic's speed, we can level it up, and we can adjust his controls, which seem to be the roughest part. There's officially a ghost girl that's confirmed, or like the AI voice. We finally got to hear that today. There's a lot of mystery to the story. Like, there's so many takeaways from this interview. Like I said, I think this is the best one, and it really gives a true, honest look at what to expect. The guy only played 30 minutes, so hey, we got like a lot more to learn. Very excited for this game, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Sonic Frontiers down below in the comments. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. I got nothing else to say to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until I see you next time, peace out.